Hello fellow creatives, it is day 14 of the 30 Days of Painted Elephants project. Do you like my new hat? It's Sunday, so I really didn't feel like doing my hair. So, you get a hat. Today's inspiration comes from a set of paintings that I did from a course from Donna Downey. It's called 10 by 10 by 10. You paint 10 canvases in 10 days. And I don't know what the other 10 means. I only made it through 4, but I like the concept of it, so I'm going to try and wrap my brain around how I could make it work for 3 or 4 elephant paintings in a sequence. Now the idea here is to have a limited color palette, have the same subject matter, which is going to be easy for me, and to make them look cohesive but yet not a direct copy of each other, so that they could be standalone pieces but could also be put on a wall as a group. So I'm gonna take you to my display wall right away and I'll show you the ones I'm talking about. So I'm over here on my display wall that I have in my studio for when students come in so they can see the type of work that I do to see if it inspires them. Like I've mentioned before, I always have my paintings up around the room because they just ignite ideas. Look at my little Mardi Gras Duke. Anyway. These 4 paintings that are all done in a sequence are the idea and concept for today's vlog. These were clearly a butterfly theme, and I just love the word fly. I find it very empowering. So that is the sequence that I did for that class. I'm going to use the same color scheme because I absolutely love it. And I'm just going to do 3 or 4 canvases in that realm and see where that goes. You ready to jump on this creative, crazy train with me? Let's do it. So I lost a bunch of footage. Actually, I didn't lose the footage, it was corrupt. So we're kind of starting about 15 minutes into each canvas. And I initially started by working on all 4 canvases and swapping them out and making them all 4 different ways. So this is sort of me just bouncing around on each canvas, throwing some paint on, using the limited color palette of teal, yellow ochre, white, and Payne's gray blue. And later on I add some raw umber, which is another color to make it kind of grungy. So right now I'm just grunging things up. So this is the piece that I decide to work on for today's piece. I was thinking of using some book pages on this one, but then I changed my mind and I decided to put them on this one. So adding a little bit of teal here, and one thing here is to get those really cool grungy marks with the palette knife. You need to have the flat palette knife, and this is just the raw umber, dripping it, and that circle there I made with my paintbrush is like my favorite part of this painting, is all of that splosh or bloom of paint that's just kind of running together and looking like grunge and oil and just crazy. This one I decided to add some raw umber to break up some of the boringness of it. But this is a great way to stay loose in your creativity. It's, you know, you bounce back and forth between 4 different canvases and you have to make quick decisions that just go with your gut. So I highly recommend this type of practice. And you'll be surprised at what turns out in the end when you make all 4 at different times. And here I'm finding some quotes and things, but for me, whenever I find a quote, it's kind of the last thing to put on the page. So I cut that one out and I saved it. And so this is the final piece that I'm going to finish for today. I decided that I'd better choose one to finish for today's painting, and then I'll go back in the coming days and finish the other one. So just adding some cardboard, that's what that yellow is, just grabbing a piece of cardboard, dragging some paint across it with a flat palette knife. The key is to use a flat palette knife so that the paint stays on top of the cardboard and doesn't go into the little grooves. But there's like probably 4 or 5 different layers of paint and grunge and stuff here. And I was looking online at some elephants drawings and things, and I found this one that was done in pencil, and it was really a sketch. And I thought, well, that would look really cool with this particular type of grunge look that I'm going for here. So I'm just taking my number 3 micron pen and scribbling in some marks. Now the mistake I made here was I used the watercolor pencil. So naturally when I added water, it activated it and it just started smudging and smearing everywhere. And I first thought it was the micron pen, and I was like, what's going on? Because the micron pen it's not supposed to come off. So lesson learned with the baby elephant, I'm going to use the watercolor pencil to sketch the elephant. Then I'm going to go over it with the micron pen. And then before I start adding water and paint, I'm going to just wet it all down and remove all of the watercolor pencil so that when I go over it, I just have to reinforce the micron lines. And these 2 reference photos that I have that I'm using for this are totally different. One's a photograph and one is a line drawing. So I'm just using them to get the shape and the form. The rest of it is all me. Creating depth using that Payne's Gray to create shadows. I'm wanting to keep the highlights from the paint that I already applied. I want those to stay there. That was something that I learned in high school from my high school teacher. He said, you know, if you ever need highlights, don't paint them in, use the color of the canvas below. The canvas is always white. So I make all of these textures and layers and things, and I want them to stay. I want to just keep them there. And it is storming like crazy right now, so if you can hear the thunder, that's what that is. I'm just reinforcing that line up top using a credit card. Unfortunately, with me losing the footage, you guys didn't see this part, but that's how I make those grungy lines. I use an old club card or a credit card. And then I'm just strengthening these lines, and I think that this is really pretty much getting close to done. Well, that all went kind of kamikaze crazy. I have no idea how I'm going to edit that for it to make any sense. But I decided throughout the mayhem that I should probably finish at least one of the paintings. So that's the one that you saw there. I'm not sure that it's much on its own, but I'm convinced that once all 4 of them together, they will look good. So I hope you'll turn in for the next 3 days as I develop the other 3 canvases. But for today, I'm calling this one done. Are you ready to see it? There it is. This is one of those things, when you experiment, you have to just roll with it and see what happens. And tomorrow is a new day and a new painting. So thank you for tuning in for today. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next 3 paintings and how they are all going to come to life. Hit that like button if you liked today's video, and be sure to tune in tomorrow for the 30 Days of Painted Elephants project and vlog every day in August. And of course, check it out on Instagram. I've got some Instagram stories and the hashtag 30 Days of Painted Elephants at Wholehearted Art. See you tomorrow, everyone.